Hi friends! Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my own nature journal at home, and if you're interested, maybe you could follow along and make a nature journal for yourself as well. Whether your family is viewing nature through walks in your neighborhood or by sitting in your backyard, looking through windows or in storybooks, we're all in different places right now and we're viewing lots of different types of nature. Nature journals are a neat way to document what we're seeing. That way the next time we meet up and the next time we speak to each other, we can all share the types of nature we've been seeing and share all of our observations. You can include anything you want in your nature journal. You can include photographs that you took or pictures that you drew. You might take a sample of nature, maybe a flower that you picked or a leaf that you found while you were outside, and you can glue it in and make a collage inside your nature journal. Any piece of nature that you're interested in recording and thinking about and reflecting on can be included in your nature journal. Making a nature journal at home is super easy. It only takes a few minutes and a few materials. My first step is always to make sure I have all the materials that I'm going to need for my project. So I have some paper. I have a stick which I'm going to use to make the binding or the spine of my book. And then you're going to need something to tie your book together. So today I'm going to be using some rubber band type materials. I actually didn't have a rubber band at my home, but I did have this old like hair tie, an old hairband that I'm going to use today. But if you don't have a rubber band at your home, you could also use some rope or some string. Or I also found these in my home, which I think I could probably use to hold my book together. They're old twist ties, like what you use to keep like bread closed. I think these actually came off of some sort of wire or something that I had in my home. It was like holding a wire together. But I had a couple of those laying around and I could probably use those as well. I also have scissors in case I need to cut my paper. I have some staples. I'm going to show you a second way at the end to make another type of nature journal that just uses some paper and some staples. And then I also have some markers that I'm going to use to decorate my nature journal when it's all done. So making your nature journal is just a few simple steps. First, you have to take your paper, and you should have a couple pieces here. Think about how many pages long you want your nature journal to be and get about that many sheets of paper. So I'm starting with just 3 because 3 is easy for me to work with. It's not too many. And I'm going to fold my paper right in half. Like that. Like that. So that it's kind of book shaped. So it opens this way, the way a book opens, and not this way. Well, I guess you could make it open that way if you wanted to, but usually when I make nature journals, I make them open like a book. This next part is easiest if you have a hole punch, and you can just take your hole punch and punch one hole kind of close to the bottom and one hole kind of close to the top. Make sure you don't go all the way on the edge, but a little ways in from the edge. I actually don't have a hole punch at my home, so I had to use like a pencil and poke my hole through my paper myself, and that worked just fine. If you don't have a hole punch at your home, you might want to ask your mom or your dad or another grown-up to help you punch the holes, because it might be a little bit tricky. It was a little bit tricky because I'm using thick paper for me to get my holes through. So now I have one hole at the top, and I have one hole towards the bottom of my paper. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rubber band. It's nice if you have a long kind of stretchy rubber band. Your rubber band should be about the same length as your book. It can be a little shorter, but you're going to need to stretch it, so it's nice if it's about the same length. If you don't have any rubber bands like this, you could use just like the regular size rubber bands and do a book that's half as big. Or you could put your holes 1, 2 at the top and have the side part be at the top, and you could stretch it this way. Usually the standard rubber band size fits a little bit better across the top of your paper, but I have a big one, so I'm going to use the big one. You're going to open your book so that it's right in the middle, kind of like your pages are flat out again. And you're going to take your rubber band and push it through the top hole so that it comes out the outside of your book. So from the front it looks like this with just a little sort of loop sticking out. And from the inside, you can see the rest of my rubber band is just hanging inside. And then you're going to take your stick and stick it through the top loop. And this part is a little bit tricky, so you might need to ask someone to help you out. But you're gonna hold your stick and you're gonna open your book. Make sure your rubber band stays on the top of your stick and that it doesn't fall. And you're going to take your rubber band that's on the inside part and you're gonna push that through the outside hole, just like you did the first time. So now you have one end of your stick in your rubber band and one loop out, and you're going to take the stick and you're going to put it right through the end of that loop, just like you did at the top, so that the loop goes around the stick on the top and the loop goes around the stick at the bottom. And on the inside, you should be able to see one long line of your rubber band from top to bottom. And that's it. I'm done. I have my spine holding my book together and my rubber band holding my pages. And I can open it up and I can flip through. That's my nature journal. Now I'm going to take a second to add some decoration to the front of my nature journal. I'm going to maybe add some words and draw some pictures and think about the types of collections I would like to keep in here. If you don't have a rubber band or something stretchy that you could use to go around the stick, that's okay too. You have lots of options. Another really easy way is to take your holes after you've punched them and put a pipe cleaner or a twist tie or ribbon or string or anything that you can tie and just poke it all the way through, starting in the back and go all the way through your book, and then you can twist it up. And if you have a lot extra, you might want to take your scissors and trim the ends. And you do that just for the top and the bottom. And as long as you keep the tie part on the side and a little bit loose, it'll work just the same. You'll be able to flip through all of your pages and be able to use your nature journal. There are lots of different things you could use to keep your pages together. Anything that you can tie will really work pretty well. And if you don't have anything that you can tie, you don't have any ribbon or string or spare shoelaces in your house, it might be nice to look around and see if you can find a stapler, because a stapler is sort of a classic bookmaker. Just take one staple at the top, one staple at the bottom, oh, I'm out of staples. Okay, I got more staples. One staple at the bottom, and maybe one staple in the middle if you need it, but I usually just do two, and it works just as well. So you have lots of different options of ways that you can make your nature journals. I like the first option with the stick because I like when I have a little bit of nature right on the outside of my journal. But if you end up doing one with staples or pipe cleaners or string, you might want to still add some sticks or some leaves to the front of your nature journal to add a little bit of nature to the front cover. So that's my nature journal. I added a little picture to the front and I'm off to go make some nature observations.